The square sun drifted downward, washing the hills in a warm orange light. A traveler named Liora stepped through a quiet birch forest. The trees rose in straight columns, each block patterned with white and peppered with small black marks. Leaf blocks formed soft cube clusters above her head. Nothing moved except a few drifting particles that caught the sunset. Liora liked walking at this hour. The world felt slower. Even her boots tapped gently across the grass blocks, almost muffled. She carried only a bed, a pickaxe, a stack of planks, and a little cooked food wrapped in paper. Simple things, enough for wandering. At the edge of the birch forest, she reached a clearing. The grass stretched out in perfect green squares, trimmed by patches of flowers. A few cows grazed nearby, each one shifting in small, predictable steps while they nudged at the grass. Their soft sounds blended with the wind that moved through the leaves. Liora smiled. The place felt peaceful. A quiet rustle came from behind. Liora turned. A wolf watched her from between the birch trunks. Its body had that familiar blocky shape, clean and straightforward. Its head tilted once. Liora held still. She understood wolves well. They liked calm energy, not loud movement. She reached into her pack and took out a bit of cooked meat. The wolf stepped closer. It sniffed, then sat. Liora offered the food. The wolf accepted it, then leaned its head toward her knee. Hearts flickered in the air for a moment, soft and warm. The wolf's eyes shifted from wild to gentle. It chose her. "All right," Liora whispered. "You can walk with me." The wolf huffed softly and brushed its blocky head against her leg. They walked together across the clearing as the square sun dropped beneath the horizon. Once night appeared, the sky became a deep blue. Stars lit up in crisp patterns. Liora placed her head on a small rise, then put down a torch to set the light level. The wolf circled the ground beside her for a moment, then lay down with its chin resting on its front paws. She slept easily. The wolf kept quiet watch. Nothing stirred except the natural sounds of the plains at night. A few sheep wandered along the far hill, their wool glowing faintly under the moonlight. Somewhere in the distance, water flowed in tidy lines through a riverbed. Morning arrived. Soft gold light washed over the bed. Liora sat up, stretched, and patted the wolf's head. It gave a low, friendly rumble. "Let's look for a place to build," she said. They set out toward a ridge of stone blocks that rose neatly from the plains. Each layer sat on the next with perfect alignment. Dirt capped the top, dotted with patches of tall grass. Liora mined a few stone blocks near a shallow overhang, listening to the crisp clink as they popped into her hands. The wolf sniffed around, then sat to watch her work. With enough stone gathered, she crafted a furnace and a set of stone tools on her crafting table. The grid felt solid under her hands. She placed sticks and stone in the familiar pattern until she had a pick, an axe, and a spare shovel. The wolf wagged its tail. Liora packed everything and walked along the ridge. She eventually found it, a quiet lakeside area, shaped cleanly by the world. The water formed a perfect rectangle, bordered by sand blocks that glowed pale in the daylight. A willow of leaf blocks hung over the lake, supported by a tidy column of logs. Fish drifted below the surface, moving in slow, square arcs. "This is the spot," Liora whispered. The wolf barked once, quiet and approving. Liora placed her crafting table near the edge of the lake, then set down a chest beside it. She worked slowly. She gathered oak logs from a stand of trees nearby, careful to replant each sapling she collected. She shaped the logs into planks, then started placing the foundation of her home, one clean block at a time. The wolf followed her footsteps, sometimes lying on the grass, sometimes standing beside her as she worked on the structure. Walls rose in an easy pattern. Oak planks for the lower half, stone blocks for the corners, a neat window space formed on the lakeside. Liora later filled it with glass panes she smelted from sand in the furnace. When she placed the panes, they clicked into place with a satisfying sound. The roof took longer, but she liked the rhythm. Plank after plank, slab after slab, each one aligned in clean rows. The wolf curled on a grass block nearby, sunning itself. Every so often, a wandering trader passed through the plains behind the ridge, humming in that familiar tone. Liora waved, but she rarely traded. She liked gathering things herself. The wolf always stayed close when strangers came by. Though it never growled, it simply watched with steady eyes. One evening, Liora and the wolf explored the forest to gather more wood. The block sun lowered again, turning the world gold. They found a meadow where sheep grazed in slow paths. Liora sheared a few of them for extra wool. They barely noticed, and she thanked them anyway. The wolf sniffed at the wool, then sneezed. On the way back, they found a beehive in a tree. The bees moved in tight, ordered loops, buzzing softly. Liora stood still and watched them. The wolf sat beside her, patient and peaceful. When the bees returned to the hive, she placed a flower nearby. She liked quiet exchanges like that. They returned home at night. Liora placed a lantern above the door. Its glow spread in neat levels across the interior. The wolf curled beside the furnace. The home felt warm now. Liora lay in her bed, listening to the distant splash of fish in the lake. Sleep arrived quickly. Days flowed together. Liora farmed a small area near the water. She planted seeds in tiny rows. She hydrated the soil with water placed exactly where she needed it. The sprouts grew in predictable stages, each one a gentle change from the last. The wolf followed her everywhere. When she tilled land, it walked along the row, almost supervising. When she fished, it sat on the sand and watched the bobber bob in clean, square motions. Sometimes it gently nudged her hand as if encouraging patience. One afternoon, Liora gathered clay from a nearby riverbed. The wolf splashed in the shallow water with stiff little jumps. She crafted bricks from the clay in her furnace, let them cool, then shaped them into a chimney for the side of her house. The result made the building look complete. Everything sat at right angles. Everything matched the world. She decorated the inside too. A flower pot with a blue orchid on a crafting table corner. A painting propped up on the wall. A few barrels stacked in a tidy column. A loom she did not need, but placed anyway because she liked the way it looked. The wolf approved of the new layout. It tested different resting spots until it found the one it liked most. A corner near the window where the lake reflected across the floor when the sun hit at the right angle. One evening, Liora decided to build the dock. The lake stayed still as always. Water blocks do not ripple, but the light shimmered across them in small, square patterns. Liora placed oak slabs out in a simple walkway. The wolf stood at the start of the dock and watched her place each piece. A few fish swam near the slabs. She crouched down and watched their small movements. The world gave them only a few patterns, but it was enough to make them feel alive. When she finished the dock, she placed a lantern on a fence post at the end. The glow reflected across the lake. The wolf barked softly, then sat at her side. They stayed there until the square moon rose. Stars reflected in the water. Never any waves, just a smooth mirror. Liora rested her hand on the wolf's head. It leaned into her. The moment felt simple, clean, balanced. Weeks passed in quiet loops. Liora expanded her home by one room. She placed a bed with blue dye in the corner. She filled an item frame with a simple map of the area. She added a few spruce planks to soften the floor. Every new detail clicked into place and made the home feel sturdier. The wolf stayed close each day. It chased butterflies in straight lines, then returned to sit beside her legs. It wandered only far enough to sniff a cow or watch a chicken hop around the grass. It always came back. Liora sometimes traveled a bit farther. She found a small ravine carved deep into the plains. She mined a little coal, then decided the place was too steep for the mood of her days. She returned to the surface and let the ravine stay untouched. The wolf trotted beside her the entire way home. One night, the weather changed. Rain fell in perfect sheets. The sound softened the world. Liora cracked her window open so she could listen. The wolf lay on the floor beside her bed. Its fur darkened slightly with the damp air, and it closed its eyes. The rain continued in steady rhythm, drop after drop, always square, always gentle. Liora felt her breath slow. Her home glowed with lantern light. Her crops swayed softly outside. The lake darkened to a deep blue. The wolf snored with a quiet rumble. She whispered, "Thank you for staying with me." The wolf lifted its head, yawned with its blocky jaw, then settled again. Liora lay back and let the sound of the rain wash through the room. The world felt completely steady. No rush, no worry, only the comforting structure of a place where every block sat exactly where it belonged. The lantern flickered. The rain softened. Liora closed her eyes. The wolf breathed beside her, and the night settled into a perfect calm.